Saludos. I can't remember if I've ever actually said this or not, but I was born in Mexico and I lived there for 3 years. And the family I most had contact with growing up was my Mexican family. And my grandpa, mostly. And I don't know. I didn't... Like, I understand some of the folklore, but it's not like they preached it heavily. But I more or less know. I guess it's a combination of the things my grandfather and my mother would say and what I heard other Mexicans say growing up. And then the handful of friends I have back in Mexico, which is like 3, that are peers of mine. This is important, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't bring it up. Actually, I am a random guy, so maybe it is important that I say when things I'm saying are important. Wednesday morning at midnight, so Tuesday night transitioning into Wednesday morning, I was up. I finished watching the second season of Iron Fist last week, and then I started watching or rewatching the first season because I don't really know why. I just decided to, and I guess I wanted to see a little bit more of him and the way that he interacted with Davos before this current season. I don't know. The point is, I was watching that or trying to, but not really, and trying to find a way to get to sleep because Wednesday, was fast approaching. Obviously, it just became Wednesday, and I was still awake. I don't know if you can hear. I'm using my camera's mic, so it doesn't just isolate my voice with like I do with my other mic. But let me be quiet. Okay. Did you hear anything like besides the fan? You may have heard a dog barking. You may have heard crickets. There's always noise out here because, as I've mentioned before, I live in the middle of nowhere, and that window is always open because I like to have a cool breeze coming in spite of the fan that I have, because I like to know when it's going to rain. If I haven't heard anything or if it's about to rain and I can smell it, it's I don't know. I don't really know why, but I like to know it's coming. I can smell it. And I like to know what's going on outside because I need to be prepared. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I actually sleep on this couch. And it's because this part of the house I feel needs the most defense, and people probably don't expect someone to be here on this side of my house. So here I sleep in case someone tries to break in or try something shady, and I can just shut them down right away. And it's midnight-ish, a little bit past midnight, and it goes really quiet all of a sudden. Like, everything just goes silent, and you could hear a pin drop, and that's very, very rare. I don't know that it's ever really gotten that quiet. You can usually hear cars going down the highway, some sort of critters outside, or the train, but this was just quiet, like super, super quiet, pin drop quiet. And it felt like 5-10 minutes, probably not as long, but that's just what it felt like. And then suddenly the silence was broken by a loud whistle, and it was kind of like a kazoo, and I heard it right there, like right next to my ear. And then it stopped. It lasted maybe 10 or 15 seconds, and then it stopped, and then I couldn't hear anything. But I felt like a presence. And it was really creepy, and the silence persisted for about 30 minutes. And then I heard a train coming by, and then all the animals just kind of started getting back to what they were doing previously. But it was super creepy and super scary. Well, I don't know if I say scary. I'm not really afraid of anything, but it was creepy. It was creepy, and I was definitely on edge. I'm not going to say I was scared, but I was unsure of how to proceed. Part of me wanted to reach for the shotgun over there, and part of me wanted to just get my knife and go over there, and then just go outside and face it. But I don't know. I couldn't really decide, and so I just sat and I waited. And like I said, everything went back to normal. So you might be wondering, well, what does this mean? What are you talking about? It's just a whistle. Well, I mean, first of all, a whistle in the middle of nowhere, that's not normal. It's super weird, especially if it's a kazoo. But the first thing I thought when I heard it, well, the two things that I thought kind of at the same time were, it's a cat or it's an owl. Because I have had owls out here before. And it's actually not so common. I don't know why. I would expect there would be more, because there's lots of snakes out here, and there's mice, and I mean there's plenty of stuff for them to eat. So I don't know why they're not around here more. But my neighbors have cats, and the cats have an affinity for coming to my property and fighting and whining, and they sound like they're in their death throes. And they actually used to come to my house and go under my house and fight, because you could hear them like bumping against the floorboards. And that was super annoying. They don't really come around so much anymore, because I think I made it pretty clear I don't want them here. When I see them, I kind of shoot them away, and maybe spray some water their way or throw some ice their way. And I think they've learned not to come around here. But it's entirely possible that one or two is still coming around, and that could have been what I heard. Except for the fact that I heard the noise and then I heard silence. Which, same thing with if it was an owl. If it were an owl, first and foremost, I would have definitely heard it doing more than just making some weird noise. Because there's something behind this wall. It's not just wilderness. And there are things back there. And so I would have heard it bump into something or knock something over, or I would have heard it swoop down and get whatever it was trying to prey upon. So I also would have heard it fly away, because behind this window is it's not enclosed like four walls enclosed, but it's semi-enclosed. It's got railing and it's got posts, so you can't just swoop in and out without making a noise. But you're going to be detected, especially since I can hear as if I'm practically outside with this window open and the proximity to that area. And I didn't hear it fly away. I thought I would hear the wings flapping or it swooping down and getting the mouse or the snake or whatever it was trying to eat. Cricket, whatever. I don't know what owls eat. I assume just mice. But I didn't hear that. I just heard the whistling sound, and with the cat, same thing. I just heard that noise, which could have been like one of those growls or whatever. Not growls, but like when they whine and it sounds like they're in their death throes. I mean, maybe it could have been that, but typically there's more. It's not just one noise and I'm done. It's like an ongoing thing, and it just whines and whines and then goes away or starts whining a different way. And obviously it wasn't two cats fighting because there was no scuffle. And yeah, it was pretty creepy. And the reason it's creepy is because Mexicans believe in something, or some Mexicans, not all, I'm not going to generalize all Mexicans, especially since I'm not even totally Mexican. I'm only half Mexican. But for the most part, Mexicans are aware through folklore of La Lechuza, which is, I'm not 100% sure. So when I was growing up, I just thought it was like a demon thing. It's only recently that I actually looked it up and like researched it a little bit more that I found that it's supposed to be like a kind of like a skinwalker. It's like a witch that turns into an owl, or an owl that's the familiar of a witch. And you can call me stupid or crazy, but I mean that's one of the things that came to mind. Being half Mexican, I was like, oh yeah, it must be La Lechuza, which is kind of creepy because I keep saying it's creepy, so it must be creepy. That's how I'm trying to convince you that it's creepy. No, it's strange because I actually do hear a lot of weird things out here, and it's September. This feels like something I should have waited for October to say, but it just happened, and so I just wanted to put it out there. Just crazy experience. Yeah, sometimes I hear weird noises. Sometimes, and it's not exclusively at night. A few months ago, it was about 3:30, and in the afternoon on a Sunday, and I heard somebody screaming, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna get up and see what's going on. But as soon as I heard it, it stopped, and didn't hear anything after that. No struggle, nothing, not even. And the thing is, there's nothing but like open space around me, and so if somebody were chased down and retrieved because they escaped from something, you would hear their captors get them going through the brush or whatever, because nobody's going to be on foot. I mean, maybe, but even on foot, you're still going to hear them going through the brush and through whatnot. So that was pretty strange. But I didn't hear about anybody being hurt or anything. There were no cops later that night or following that. I've come home before and the lights in my garage have been on, and the thing about the lights being on in the garage is that there's actually something in front of the door. I actually have something blocking the entrance to the garage, so if you go inside, I know you're in there because you have to move what's blocking the door. You can't open the garage doors like where the cars go because I don't know what it's called, but the doors are broken essentially, and you can open them, but they are extremely heavy. You're not assisted at all. The system that makes it easy for the doors to open and close is broken, and so it's a real chore to get those doors open. And even if you can summon the strength to open the door and then let it gingerly come down, more often than not it gets stuck, and you get about that much space where the door is open, and you would have to fiddle with it and make lots of noise to get it to close the way it's supposed to, and you draw lots of attention to yourself. And that's the only way into the garage / workshop. And I've come home 2 times and the lights have been on, and both times I called the police and they came out and they went in there and didn't find anybody. But it's just the weirdest thing because I don't know how else anybody could get in there. So that's partly why I sleep here with the shotgun over there and with my knives, because from here I'll be able to tell if somebody's going through any of my buildings. So yeah, history of strange occurrences here, and I just want to document it. And I guess that's it. I told a friend about this who watches the channel, like I'd mentioned, and I told her that if it was La Lechuza, I was going to have to what did she suggest? She started to suggest doing something, and I told her no, that I was just going to get an egg and cure the house and then smack it with a banana leaf, and she said that if I do, I had to document it. So I'm putting this out there so y'all know if I do a video of me curing this house with an egg and then smacking it with a banana leaf, that's why I'm doing it. Because I think a video like that is just so weird that I wouldn't bother explaining myself. I would just do it and post it. But no, seriously, if if something else does happen, I'll have to get some other people over here. Maybe my bishop, and then probably have to bless the house or something. I don't think it'll get that bad though. I really don't know how a Latter-day Saint would handle this, but I imagine it'd be some sort of blessing upon the house or on my land. I don't know, but hit me up on Twitter if you have any thoughts on what this might be, or if you have any creepy stories of your own. Hit me up, let me know, and we can discuss it, or I could even read your story like those other channels, because why not? All right, later.